Alright guys, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's me, the Blade Gamer, of course. In the last video, we turned into an adult by grabbing the Master Sword out of its pedestal and tamed Epona so that we can use her in the Hyrule Field area to travel faster. One thing I forgot to mention, that when you transform into an adult, it is no longer difficult to use the Hyrule Shield. So you use it like the Deku Shield, like young Link did, except it cannot burn up. Alright, so they didn't say anything about it in cutscenes, but where you need to go is the graveyard. Another thing I forgot to point out now that I remember is Sheik pointed out, or Navi, I can't remember who, pointed out that you can't use all of the same items as an adult as you could as a kid. You cannot use the slingshot, you cannot use the Deku Shield or the Kokiri sword, you cannot use the Goron's bracelet, and you cannot use the boomerang and Deku sticks, and any mask. So there's quite a bit you can't use, but luckily that doesn't happen too much. So if you remember, we planted the magic bean here, so now we can climb on top of the plant because it's grown. And if you roll into the crate, you get a piece of heart. We've completed another heart container for a grand total of 10 pieces of heart. So that's what the magic bean plants do. They create a platform that adult Link can climb on, and it will take him to certain spots in the area. In this case, it just takes us to that ledge, so there's not really anything more you can do. Now, I'm sure if you read some signs you'll see this, but Dompe the Gravekeeper has passed away. Thank goodness, because if I had to play his minigame one more time, I would have killed him myself. But now that he's dead, you can open up his grave and jump inside. Young man, are you fast on your feet? I may not look like it, but I'm confident in my speed. Let's have a race. Follow me if you dare. Alright, so you basically want to follow him as fast as you can. You can roll, do whatever you feel comfortable with, but you do have to follow him or else you'll get lost in this maze unless you've memorized the path that he goes on. Alright, so this can be difficult if you get hit by his flames, but overall it's not that difficult. I'm not sure if you have to be there in a certain time, but I believe it doesn't matter the first time you race them, just as long as you succeed. Maybe it's under a minute and 10 seconds, I don't know. But we're almost done right about now. We're about 3/4 of the way through. You climb to the left here. Readjust the camera so you don't get stuck. Alright, now this is the hardest room in the area. Because you do have to race him again later, but it's quite a bit later in the game. But you want to get through here before the door closes. When you speak to him again, he's like, the time of this race was 1 minute and 2 seconds. Young man, you were very quick to be able to keep up with me. As a reward, I'm going to give you my treasure. It's called the hook shot. Its spring-loaded chain will pull you to any spot where the hook sticks. Doesn't that sound cool? I'm sure it'll help you. I live here now, so come back again sometime. I'll give you something cool. One more thing, be careful on your way back. And we get the hook shot. It's spring-loaded chain. It's a spring-loaded chain that will pull you towards it. You can drag distant items towards you as well, and it can defeat smaller enemies in one hit. What?
Shiny.
Oh, yeah, she says it's shiny. So anyway, this is the equivalent of the boomerang for adult Link. It is a very useful item. Well, technically it is probably the second most useful item as adult Link. And I'll get into that later, but yeah. Anyway, you saw one of those blue blocks. I believe if you had Navi talk about it. He said that it's a time block or something. Anyway, you play the Song of Time to get rid of it, and yeah. So, the first thing you want to do, once you get into this room, is jump on the windmill thing, and jump over here to get a piece of heart. Alright. You can get this piece of heart earlier in the game. Right after you get the boomerang, you can just throw it and get over there. Navi was talking about Saria. But one other thing you want to do is talk to this man right here. Grr! I'll never forget what happened on that day, 7 years ago. Grr! It's all that Ocarina kid's fault. Next time he comes around here, I'm gonna mess him up. Okay, quite violent, I see. What? You've got an Ocarina? What the heck? That reminds me of that time, 7 years ago. Back then, a mean kid came in here and played a strange song. It messed up this windmill. I'll never forget this song. You've learned the Song of Storms. Basically, it makes the windmill spin out of control, and that's why he got so mad. But apparently, we played that song 7 years ago, but we never learned this song until now, so what could that mean? Well, it should be obvious, but basically we need to go back in time and play the Song of Storms. Alright, so now we can do several things in this game. First, I'm going to change it to night. I hate the C-stick controls for this. I wish they would have utilized the X, Y, and Z buttons in this game. I mean, technically you can use the X, Y, and Z buttons in this game for the C buttons, but they don't have an option where you can change the HUD, or the heads-up display, where it changes from C buttons to X, Y, and Z buttons to make it much easier. Anyway, there's a gold Skulltula, but we have to hookshot on several roofs to get to it. So first you want to go on this one, then you want to head up there. But you gotta get to the very far edge, and be careful not to jump off, even though it's not really hard to get back on. There we go. And you want to get on top of this roof. And this is actually Impa's house, if I'm not mistaken. And we have another gold Skulltula. Oh, and you can also use the hookshot to grab these. But since the hookshot is an effective weapon, unlike the boomerang, because it can be targeted much easier, you can also use that as well to kill Skulltulas. Now, earlier when we used Kabora Gabora to get up here onto this ledge, you can use the hookshot to get on that ledge as well. So yeah, so that is the first thing we want to do. The next thing we want to do is get up there and talk to him. Now, I believe what we want to do is go to the lookout tower and use the hookshot there. And I think my sister is about to sneeze. And my sister was wondering what this guy is doing. And he's actually the banker in Majora's Mask. But in this game he doesn't really do anything. And I'm not really into... She's imitating what he was doing. Let's see, is this what we do? What is this guy doing? If I fall asleep up here, I'll surely fall down. Well, that's a great thing to say, and now she's imitating him. Alright, so... can we hookshot there? This is why the hookshot isn't really that great. And right now, I should say, is because it has a very short range. Alright, so right here, I'm right outside the windmill, and I'm standing on the fence right here, and we can now grapple to this area. And now we can talk to him, which is the second twin. Hey, good to see you again. I'll give you this as a memento. And he gives us another piece of heart. So that is a very easy piece of heart to get. And it's very convenient if you know that he has one for you. So we're getting pieces of heart left and right now, so that's pretty awesome. So now we can head to Kokiri Forest, not Kakariko Village. Yes, it's a tree.
What's wrong with the poor tree?
I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you guys back at Kokiri Forest. Alright guys, we are back at the Kokiri Forest, and it is still nighttime, which is kind of important right now. But as you can tell, this town is now overrun by monsters, unfortunately. That is pretty sad, considering it's the town we grew up in. But we are here to combat the evil, so hopefully we will be able to fix it soon. Right over here is a gold Skulltula, which is only available in the future. So you want to get it. It one-shots gold Skulltulas, the hookshot does, that is. And we get a gold Skulltula token. So yeah, that's another easily missed gold Skulltula for those who aren't aware of it. But it has to be night for him to appear, because all gold Skulltulas appear at night, unless they are hidden inside objects, so yeah. Alright, so now we want to go to the Lost Woods. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Goron City and Zora's River shortcuts to the Lost Woods are blocked off. So, you have to come this way, as far as I know. Now, over here, when you see Skull Kid, he'll start shooting at you because you're big. And now Anju's brother, also known as the guy who said he hated his family, is there now. So just keep that in mind. He will be important later. So now we want to go to the area where we saw Saria last. Now I'm going to go check and see if we can get through here, actually. Okay, so the Goron City shortcut is not blocked off, like I thought it was. Okay, so you can go through Goron City if you wish, but I'm not going through there. Actually, I think the Zora's River shortcut works as well. I keep thinking that it's in Lake Hylia, not the Zora's River, but we don't have access to Lake Hylia right now. Anyway, this is Mido. There we go. I thought it was Fado. That was the guy from Wind Waker. This is Mido, and he's like, "What are you? Though you wear Kokiri-ish clothing, you can't fool me, Kokiri-ish clothing. I promised Saria I would never let anybody go through here. So what you want to do to prove that you're friends with Saria is decapitate him. Like my sister said. What you want to do is play Saria's song." Why did I play Epana's song?
Because he's a horse.
Because he's a horse. Okay.
Another word for that, anyway. Or another donkey.
Oh, you mean a donkey? Anyway, that melody. Saria plays that song all the time. Do you know Saria? That song. Saria taught that song only to her friends. Okay, I trust you. When I see you, I don't know why, but I remember him. So he remembers us, but he doesn't remember why he remembers us, which is interesting. Right over here is the area where we planted a magic bean, and we want to head on top and get another gold Skulltula. I forgot to mention that the Master Sword does double the damage of the Kokiri Sword, so you can one-shot Skulltulas now. Do you go... Okay, yeah, straight. Alright, so one trick is, if you don't know where you're going, is to go to the very edge of the portal without going in, and it will open up the next area. Now I believe we get it right. There we go. Alright, so you're going to want to have your hook shot equipped here. It says, from here on, we'll be going through some narrow passages. If you take it slow, maybe you can sneak up on some enemies. Use the L targeting to look in the proper direction. Okay, we get it, Navi. Your useful advice is... Well, actually, this one's pretty useful. It's not quite as useful as the time when you told us to open a door by pressing A, but it'll do. Alright, so these enemies right here are moblins. You know, the pig things with the spear from Wind Waker? These are them. What they will do is ram you into a corner. If Link cannot kill them... Alright, there we go. The hookshot one-shots them. But if they're facing you, they will slam you into the wall so hard you won't know which day comes first, Friday or Saturday. But, yeah. Alright, so you can hit them from the front, but it's easier from the back. They're always going horizontally from where you enter, so they will not... they will not be going up and down aisles, they'll only be going horizontally through them. Ninja. Link is a true ninja, that is for certain. Okay, what am I talking about?
I just realized something.
What?
He steals money from dead things.
Who steals money from dead things? Well, technically, the enemies explode and money comes out of them. So... here's another gold skulltula up here. I'm going to get it from here, but what you're supposed to do is use the ladder at the end of the maze and jump on top of the maze. But I'm going to get it here because I are smart. Come here, token. Alright. So I believe we have one moblin left. We're going to want to go this way, or not, because it's a dead end. But we are going to look over here. Okay, there isn't a moblin. What am I talking about? Alright, but there is a moblin up here, and he is different from the other ones, in the sense that he will send a shockwave wherever Link is. So you're going to want to constantly change direction until you can get behind him. At that point, you can whack him with your sword, or use the hook shot. Either way, you need to kill him, and you'll get money. Who needs bigger armor? Link? The moblin? Yeah, I thought I saw up his loincloth for a minute. The flow of time is always cruel. Its speed seems different for each person, but no one can change it. A thing that doesn't change with time is a memory of younger days. In order to come back here again, play the Minuet of Forest. And we've learned the Minuet of Forest. Link, I'll see you again. Alright, so we learned the Minuet of Forest, which allows us to teleport to this exact pad right here. Now, you may have noticed other pads like this throughout the game. which means there are other warp songs to those as well. We just have to wait for a certain part in the game in order to obtain those songs. We've run out of time for this video, unfortunately. In the next episode, we will be entering the Forest Temple, which is right there. This is the Blade Gamer. See you next time.